So today I'm going to be looking at a set of data and applying it to Tableau and performing some visualizations for you to see. For the set of data I've decided to use, I decided to go with US weather history. And specifically I just chose a random year frame, and I chose the year between July 1st of 2014 through, June 30th of 2015. So what I did was I found the data here on github.com, and here we have everything that I want to assess. Obviously we see so much data here, it's really hard to kind of come up with a specific correlation just by looking at it like this, and this is why Tableau is super helpful. I have every year or every day between July 1st and June 30th listed here. And I have all of the actual mean temperatures, the minimum temperatures, maximum temperatures, and average temperatures. I'm sorry, average minimum temperature, average max. So it's pretty specific, which is really good for what we're looking for. And then we also look at these record ones, and we also go into, say, we want to know which was the highest temperature or the lowest temperature on June 1st, what year in recorded history. And for lowest, that was on 1919. June 1st had the lowest recorded temperature and whatnot. So this is very interesting. And we even get into precipitation over here. So the first thing that I did was I highlighted, oops, let me go back. Here we go. I highlighted all of the data just by going like this, like this. Pretty simply like that. And I copied it, and then I pasted it into Excel. I can go do that actually, if you'd like. 1 second. Do that now. It's quite a bit of information. Okay, there we go. Copy it, open up Excel. And see, I already did it here earlier. So basically I right-clicked here, and I hit paste, and it put all my data out here for me. Super easy. So obviously I need this to go into Tableau, so what I did was I saved it. Go into here, let me move this down so you can see. File, save as. I did US weather history just so I know where it is. Save, boop. Sure, we'll place it, why not? Alright. So the next thing I did was I opened up Tableau. I've already done everything here, but we're just going to pretend that I did not. I'm going to go into data source. So when you open up Tableau, it kind of looks like this. I'll actually show you. Open. And then, let's see here. File, new is what I meant to hit. So I'm opening up a new Tableau. Load. Alright, so the first thing here, obviously we have just a blank set here. That's not very helpful. So I'm going to actually move this closer so you can see here. So we go to data source here, Microsoft Excel, and then I want to find US weather history. Let's see if we can find it here. It looks like this. There it is, right here. Open up. Let that load. So now we have all of our information here in Excel. I like to use Data Interpreter. It kind of like understands the data better and understands what I'm going with, so I hit that. We review the results here, and it can show you like what they changed, if anything. It's just an easier way for them to kind of differentiate the years and the data and everything like this. So we've got that here. Exit out here. Go back up to our Tableau. And so what I did now is I want to show you what I actually did. So this is how I started originally, and this is what I actually did. So for sheet 2, I just decided to look at the data in several different ways to give you like an idea of what I was analyzing. So in this sheet here, I basically took the maximum temp and I drug it up here, and I put the minimum temp, and I drag it down here. And here we have the results here. It's showing, these are all temperatures. So here, so for example, if you highlight this, it says the actual max temperature was 26 degrees, the actual minimum temperature was 12 degrees. And so on a specific day, this is how much it changed. And they're looking at these specific days, so it's just interesting to see as the minimum temperature goes up, the maximum temperature tends to go up. And it's just, I like to see the correlation. Obviously, there are some outliers, like you'll have a day like this where it's like a 35-degree minimum temperature and a 77-degree max temperature. So there can be a big variation, but sometimes there's a small variation, like here. It's just very interesting. So we go into sheet 3 here. And by the way, when I did this, if you just hit show me, you can look at the data in certain ways, and depending on which kind of graph you want, it'll tell you what you need. Like, I didn't use any maps for this because I wasn't given any specific states, which would have been interesting, but I wasn't given that, so I couldn't really get any geo maps on here. So for this, I'm looking at the average minimum temperature and the average maximum temperature. Once again, we have a very close bounded correlation going on, positive correlation. Here we have it kind of meeting in the middle. And then if you go into the next sheet, we've got, these are the record temperatures. So this is like all-time record low, all-time record high. We got 6 and 69 degrees right here. We got 85, 35. And once again, you kind of generally still see a correlation with those recorded temperatures. I'm going to sheet 5. I tried to look at this in a bunch of different ways. So I thought this was quite interesting. I'm going to exit out of here. For 2014 and 2015, we see the recorded max temperatures. And as the date, obviously we're going from this, it gets higher and higher. But I thought this was interesting that 2015 seemed to be a bit of a colder year. You see in this area, we've got like a max temp of 80, min of 13, blah, 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 blah. We got 82. It's just, I see more of a, actually, now that I'm looking at this, the record minimum temperatures were higher. That makes more sense now that I'm thinking about it. So the minimum temperatures were higher in 2014 than they were in 2015. The maximum temperatures were about the same, but the minimum, so it didn't get very cold is what it's saying, as it did in 2015. Look at this, we've got -1 degrees and 75, like we've got some cold temperatures here, not so much. So I was interesting to see that kind of difference. And at first I, of course, analyzed it incorrectly, but that's what you have Tableau for. And we got sheet 6. Let's see if I can open it. Here we have actual max and minimum temperatures here. And then the average as well, and you can kind of look at the correlations. You can look at the averages with the max and the min, and you can look at the actual versus the averages, which I think is very helpful. Because sometimes the actual does differentiate from the average, and there are some deviations. If I hit sheet 7 here, sorry, my computer is a bit slow. There we go. This is where we get into the precipitations. And for this one, I used a different graph here, just to show. I wanted to show how there was a similar dip here in December and January. Obviously that we would expect, but it's just very interesting to see. And then sheet 8, let's see if I can get this open. And here we go. We have the max temperature of the year 2014 and 2015. So overall, this was a great and fun assignment, and I learned a lot about the weather in these years in the US.